safe to call her a young achiever, and I'm super excited to be chatting with her again today. This is probably the fourth time I'm meeting her, but this time it's going to be more of an interaction because I want to get to know her personally. Hi, this is me, Hesha Chima, and I'm welcoming none other than Palak Tiwari here
Thank you
on
for
Eat
having me,
Time.
Hisha. Thank you. It's so nice to meet you always.
I know, and I'm so glad that we're meeting frequently.
Yes.
Like after the first time I met you was a year ago at Fashion Week, where it was your debut walk at
Yes,
Longchamp Fashion
yes.
Week. The second time I kind of dragged you all the way
Yeah,
for
not kind of.
I did.
Literally did drag me, and she came very like, hi. I'm like, hi. She looked very nice. She seems very innocent. So like, Arey, hi, chalo, happy Holi bol dete hain. And next thing you know, she's grabbed my hand and she's taking me somewhere, and I have no will
Yeah, and I'm
or
like,
say.
please a holy bite kar do. And she was very kind, and you did give me a holy bite at a place where we're actually supposed to party, and I'm just like, I can't.
With color and like with color in my eyes, in my mouth, in my teeth. But I was like, okay.
Happy Holi. And now I'm meeting her. No, the third time I met you was when your film released. You walked for Bombay Times Fashion
Yes.
Week yet again. There we spoke, there we interacted. And now again at
Here we are.
hashtag not an interview because the whole idea is I want to get to know Palak better.
Yes, let's do it.
So where my first question to you is coming from is that you and I actually have a decade gap as far as our age is concerned.
Which I just told you, it doesn't seem it at all.
Very kind, but the reality is when I was probably your age in my early 20s, I was somebody who was very scattered in my thought.
Right.
All over my place when it came to what career choice I wanted to make. Probably hopped 3 to 4 careers easily from styling, blogging, writing, social media, name it.
Right.
And that time all the social media jazz was very new. So ऐसा नहीं कि हमें पता था कि हम क्या
So it was
कर रहे
very, must have been very fascinating for you also.
Very, like, I had those flip phones and all, and I'm going and doing bites of
So
people
fun,
for television. It's crazy. And then I just hopped to doing what I'm doing right now.
Right.
You're pretty much in your early 20s right now, but you're very put together. You exactly know what you want to do. How is this that you're so grounded and centered? Did you not have any like fluster thoughts the way I did because I was cuckoo?
I feel like, I want to also say that this is just a me characteristic, but as you were talking, I just, took a minute to think. I think everyone around, I would say Gen Z, is very decisive. I feel like I think one thing that perhaps they weren't doing 10 years back is taking a second and being collected in their thoughts and being like, okay, what do I actually want to do? I think people now take a minute to decide what they want to do. They're probably unemployed for a little longer than people before them were. They perhaps find their passion at the age of 23, 24, but once they find it, they really stick to it. I think the reason why I was always so decisive also came from the fact that I've always felt very ensconced in this profession. I felt very settled. I felt like I could have a future here. I felt like this is probably something that I do excel at. I've never been somebody that's extremely multifaceted or very, like a multi-talented jack of all trades. There's only one thing I've ever thought that I know how to do, that I've ever wanted to do. And that is something that I think I always did have a proclivity towards it, A, but B, I feel like I was just born with it ingrained in my head that this is what I want to do, even before I knew what my mom is. Like, I think I found out my mom is an actor much later. I thought that everybody's mom comes on screen. I was fascinated with what really did entice me was like, the song shoots, so, kheton mein, pahadon mein, and them like looking pretty, lehrawing it, and hero was like running to them and all that. I loved that. And I was like, jo bhi ye kariye, she looks like an intelligent woman. This is what I want to do in my life. Yeah.
So how was like your growing up days like when you were really young, when you had your mom back there working, like तुमने भी सब कुछ खुद किया है कि you all had like people take care of things at home?
I feel like my mom has seen everything in life. I think she's had like she's had a tremendous graph, and she's seen exponential growth in every sense of the word. Exponential financial growth, exponential just growth in just your quality of life. When she started out, she used to be in like you could say like a chawl, in like a one bedroom, like it was this much of a space, and my nana, my nani, my mama and my mom used to live there. And it was just one bedroom, and that's where my mom started from. So she really understands to not take anything for granted, because it really does not come easily. People aren't born with a silver spoon in their mouth. I think what I find very commendable about my mom is that she realized that this is not the life I want for any of my future generations, and she ensured that. And my grandmother, though she wasn't able to provide for my mom, she did the next best thing, which is back her up every way that she knew how. And that is, I think, a quality that my mom possesses when it comes to me, you know. And with my mom, it was the same thing. She told my nanny at a very young age that there's only one thing that I think I'm capable of excelling at, and if it's not this, it's nothing else. And even though it might be very unorthodox back then, especially the background that we came from, we come from a very orthodox thing, and everybody was like, oh my god, why would people do that? People were really judgmental of my nanny and my mom, and for allowing my mom to pursue it. So people were really judgmental of my nanny, and my nanny was never apprehensive though. She never second guessed it. She knew that I want my daughter's happiness, and that's of paramount importance to me. And I think I would say that it did fructify. And now the same people call my nanny, they're like, we to always knew Shweta will be a star, you know. And
अब तो आपके लिए भी बोलेंगे.
अभी पहले बनने दो फिर बोलेंगे. But with me, I feel like it just felt natural to me. One thing that I did, I think, absorb from my mother was the back your family up no matter what, and always, you know, provide for your family, and that's the best driving force that there is.
So, like, do you remember when you were back in school and everything, and your mom was already like, she was everywhere. मैंने भी देखा है.
Yeah.
ऐसा है ही नहीं कि किसी ने घर पे उनके serials ना देखे हो. And then, you know, her entire journey and all of that. And now imagine you're in school. Like, for me, even if my parents were remotely famous and I had attention on me because of that, I would have gone mad.
Yeah.
Like, did that happen to you? You were like, let it come, I love it.
No, actually, I never really got. I feel like very realistically, I don't know how people are going to take me saying this, but pretty privilege is an actual thing. People only care about what you are, whatever, when you look good. And or presentable rather, I would say. I was a very champu kid. You know, I used to have the longest skirts, like तेल से भरे. मेरी नानी को मुझे बालों में तेल लगाना, it's her hobby. करके तेल से, she used to tie my choti with like ribbon and hairband. I used to have a muchi and unibrow, and you know.
So hard to believe all of this.
And now I have straight teeth now because I got braces, but I had crooked teeth. So like one like little used to come out from here. So full champu I was. So people wouldn't even guess that, oh, her mom is hot. So I don't think many people knew, and the people that knew, I think, were in disbelief. Ki yeah, Betty. But yeah, so I don't think I got any of the advantages that come along with it. In fact, I wasn't even very popular growing up. When I was in like 4th, 5th standard, people didn't even say hi to me and all. I was like, you could say the uncool kid. Until my mom would come to pick me up. Nobody would say hi to me, then my mom would come to pick me up, or she would come for PTMs, and there'd be these random children be like, hi Palak! And I'd be like, oh, hi. Yeah. And then I realized, oh, it's probably because of my mom. And then mom like, oh my god, you have so many friends. I'm like, yeah, I really don't though. But yeah.
But you know, Palak, I want to say this. I do understand that you have like this, I am Shweta Tiwari's daughter, that's one part of it. But no longer, and it's just been a year, and I have to tell you this, I think ever since Bijli happened and on your other songs, and now of course the film, I don't have to introduce you for an interview to anybody, even to my camera people, as oh, Shweta Tiwari ki beti ka interview lena hai. It's always like Palak Tiwari. 1 year, and I think I told you this even at BTFW, that you've got fame, I feel, before when your debut film happened.
Yeah.
You know, and that's great, honestly, because it's not coming down because Achha Shweta Tiwari ki beti ho. It's also coming because of Palak Tiwari ho, because of that as well. Plus, I've seen a whole bunch of your interviews as well, where I feel you're absolutely not scared about owning your shit. Like, main aisi hu. This is who I am. This is my reality. This is my thought. What I'm circling back to is that, do you feel that moment when you actually realize that I'm kind of detaching away now from this identity of being Shweta Tiwari's daughter and becoming into my own? क्या आपने चिल्लाया था? क्योंकि जब मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ, when I cracked something as small as working on a styling project with Amitabh at the age of 20,
Wow.
I was screaming, I was like, my man, I'm not your daughter, bye. So I said, like, are these normal things that happen with you all also, or have you always been like, I'm put together?
I don't think I'm not put together at all, actually. It's very, you know, I remember when you said that, oh, I was very haphazard. I was like, I am haphazard. I'm just not in the, I seem collected because I feel like only in this aspect of my life, I know what I want to do. But I'm a mess everywhere else, you know. But I think as far as being detached from my mom's image is concerned, I don't think I ever will be detached from my mom's image. I am my mom's image, you know, and it's like wanting to shed a skin is one thing, but this is something that I take so much pride in. One thing that I love the most about me is that I come from her.
Yeah.
You know, all the things that I like most about me are the things that I think I have in common with her. So that's something I never want ever removed from my name. I love being Shweta Tiwari's daughter. It's one of my greatest honors in life.
Yeah.
So it's not something that I want to.
Professionally, do you feel good?
Professionally, yes, I do feel like you know, people aren't just like, oh, maybe she must be good because she's Shweta's daughter.
Yeah.
I think now they've seen very like little work, but I feel like they've seen some work.
Yeah.
And I feel like, but I still think that for me to still own my ground, there's a long way to go.
What do you think is one of your biggest strengths?
My biggest strengths, I would say, I think my family values. I think if you have a good family and a supportive family backing you up, and if you just think of your family in everything that you're doing, that's your biggest strength.
You know, sets बहुत chaotic होते हैं क्योंकि personal experience I've been on most of the sets, whether it's a film, TV, आप shoot बोल लो, film fair बोल लो, कुछ भी बोल लो, होता है. It's a little bit of a chaos. For somebody who's new,
You to come from Fashion Week, yeah? Fashion Week तो is
full chaos.
Please.
खाना नहीं आ रहा, ये नहीं आ रहा.
I see girls that are like, I would say teenagers or like in their early 20s just going it's like, are you okay?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
madness,
yeah.
right? तो सोचो भी ये छोटे लेवल पे इतना ज्यादा होता है जब आप इतने बड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स पे काम करते हो, you know, there is a Salman, now of course there's Sanjay,
Right.
Sanjay Dutt who you're working
Yeah,
with,
right.
and then there's Moni, and it's a huge clan, right?
Right.
How chaotic it is that, I mean, to kind of navigate through that one, क्योंकि probably not just being age, I think even right now I feel like बहुत stressful है यार, इससे कैसे deal करते हैं? क्या करते हो? Do you like meditate, chill, or like music and chill?
You know, I feel like movie sets are very calm and very put together. I feel like we have this tendency of not being on schedule sometimes, like things run late a bit, like some sort of tardiness there always, but that's inevitable, you know, because there's so many busy people coming in together, and I'm not including myself in the busy people. I'm the villa, but you know, speaking of Sanjay sir, speaking of Moni, she's doing so fabulously, and even Sunny for that matter, you know, they all have very busy schedules, and they so coming together, a bit of tardiness is obviously expected, but other than that, I think film sets, even with Bhaijan, even with any film set, I think they're very organized. I think that priority, for one thing about film sets, which is why also you could say this is the best job in the world, everybody's priority is calming the actor down. You know, we act like we're going for some jung, and you know, that scene, so everybody says, are you comfortable? Do you need water? Do you need this? Do you need... So, you know, you're the most pampered on a set as an actor. So no, I wouldn't say it's stressful at all, because literally everybody around there is trying to make you comfortable. Like, do you need something? Oh, पानी, गर्मी लग रही है, ठंडी लग रही है. You know, so it's very, I think, मुझे तो सेट पे रहना बहुत अच्छा लगता है, मुझे इतना भाव मिलता है, मुझे बहुत ही ज़्यादा मजा आता है. पर जैसे मेरे घर पे मम्मी गर्मी लग रही है, बाहर जा. You know, it's like that. So I love being on a set, and also the fact that my favorite place to be is on a set. So I would say my sense of calm and serenity just comes from the fact मैं काम कर रही हूँ, मैं set पे हूँ, अब मेरा shot होगा. That's just my place of zen. People have gardens, people have parks. For me, it's a movie set.
Now, in your case particularly, I'm not saying this always happens, but it's most of the times happening, but this happened with you, where you said something and it kind of blew out of proportion.
Right.
You know, so media sets a narrative sometimes, and your intent was not even that. If somebody watches the whole thing, they understand कि like, अरे ये तो कुछ और ही बोल रही थी बहन, कहाँ तुम किसको लेके चले गए. Tough to sort of cope with it, or you're like, जाने देते हैं?
I think part and parcel of what we do, right? I feel like it's also, I'm not as taken aback by it as I probably should have been, because Salman sir is an extremely understanding individual, and he knows me, you know, so he knows that I would never say anything malapropos about him ever. That's A. And B is also, I take this as more of a learning experience. You know, this is how you learn, and this is the best way to learn, making a mistake and be like, I never want to be in that position again. And I think that's the most effective, the most conducive way to learn. And so yeah, I made a mistake, I learned, and it's something that I'll keep in mind for the rest of my life now.
Yeah.
So that's all I take it as, a learning experience.
Yeah, because people do tend to like pick things up from here and there, which is not required.
Yeah. And for me, I feel like I have this habit of just talking and going with the flow, and I'm like, and I just like, I'm a talker, you know, and I get you know how people say, oh, I'm a candid chat with this one. I take that a little too seriously.
Seriously.
Yeah, so my actor shows over there, you know, I go to method into that. Ki candid chat. But now I'm realizing कि इतना candid नहीं होना चाहिए. Not everybody is your friends. Not everybody, you know, there's a camera being there does change things, which is not a bad thing. I'm not saying I'm like hiding myself or concealing myself or putting up a facade. I know people recommend that also, but I feel like acting is enough in front of the main camera.
True.
In front, sometimes you know you just need to be yourself also because it gets very tiring.
And also you are loved mostly because of you, the fact that you've been yourself.
Because I don't know how to be anything else. मैं तो अगर मेरा बस चलता, I would love to be classy, यार. I would love to be one of those girls. I'm like, yeah. Thank you. Thanks, yeah. I would love nothing more. मैं तो 12 साल से कोशिश कर रही हूँ कि मैं ऐसी बन जाऊँ, हो ही नहीं रहा है. तो अभी मैंने गिव अप कर दिया. I was like, मैं ऐसी ही हूँ. अभी देख लो जो भी हो रहा है. But yeah, I can bite my tongue a bit more. That's something that I'm still learning.
Did you kind of do any kind of acting workshops? Are you taking some, or do you feel the need for it, or you're just like?
I feel like with every project, one thing about signing a film is that they also want to ensure that you do your best. So acting workshops come with that, and they want you to be your character and all that. But I will say the 3 characters that I've had the fortune of playing so far, they've been very similar to who I am currently, because in the nascent stages of your career, I think people look at your natural personality and cast you based on that. But obviously in the future I would want to do roles that stray away from my natural personas, for which I would want to take body language classes, say accent classes, say, you know, I would want to modify those things, but so far I've not had the opportunity to.
What is Palak doing when she's not in between action and cut?
Either I am eating loads of shit, walking like a maniac, because that's my coping mechanism for basically everything in life, or watching a movie and crying in bed with my friends, which is what I was doing last night.
Oh,
yeah.
Honest, I love it. You know, we've all had this wish list bolo या bucket list bolo या कुछ भी है. You know, मेरा तो था कि मेरे को 30 under 30 Forbes में जाना है, but never mind.
No, why not? Still,
I'll push it to 40 under 40 for now. 30 तो cross हो चुका है, but never mind. Do you have something like this? Do you make goals? Like, are you somebody who makes New Year resolutions at the start of the year and then like पानी फिर गया, or you achieve?
No, I feel like I have never sort of. I feel like when you set these goals for yourself, you kind of restrict yourself in appreciating what is organically coming your way. You know, when you're so stringent and so fixated on this one thing, you have like so many other blessings coming in, you sort of like ignore them a bit.
Yeah.
So I try to keep an open mind. I promise myself every year that I'm going to be the most hardworking version of myself. I never want to take, honestly, the way I see it, I've been granted the ability to live my dream life every single day, and I'm going to be the biggest a-hole if I don't make the most of it and work my hardest, because then I don't deserve it. And I want to deserve it, because this is all I want to do in my life. So my resolution every year is to be the person that I am, still work my hardest, not let that go, be the person I am to my friends. I like to surround myself with my friends that have seen me since I was nobody, you know, since nobody knew me, since I had that muchi and all, because I feel like the second I go out of my way, they can be a little like side eye, you know. So I feel like I like being close to my roots. It's who I am, and it's what's gotten me where I am today. So I think my resolution every day is कि बहन कुछ ज़्यादा बदल मत जाना, hard work करना, and बाकी का बाद में देखेंगे. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, because I also remember telling you this, that I'm so glad that you're still so grounded and centered, क्योंकि मुझे पता है फैशन में सब पागल हो रहे थे, पालो को यहाँ लेके जा रहे हैं, वहाँ लेके जा रहे हैं, ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है, but you were like, ठीक है, मैं करूँगी, this is my job and I want to do it. And I remember not me, there was somebody else also who said that always remain this humble person that you are. And you were like, don't worry, it's not going to change. And it's so good to hear that, because people do change and we have seen it, and it's not really so pleasant, but ठीक है, it's also good to see that there's a fresher. As you said, I think Gen Z is a little bit more thought, you know, सोचते हैं उनको क्या करना है, they're centering themselves, and they kind of understand, because everything has suddenly become so spiritual and mental, which I love, by the way.
Yeah, and so I think gratitude is such a big part of where we are today. I think the pandemic, what am I saying? The pandemic did so much of that for us. You know, you just realize, oh my God, just having the ability to get out of your house and go and work is such a big deal. So I think, Gen Z does have that.
Do you also feel the sense of maturity sort of comes to you? And correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I feel like your mom has always been very open about even her personal hardships.
Right.
She's battled it. I'm sure you've seen it as well growing up days. Do you feel that that is also one of the reasons why you kind of have this this whole कैसे मैं उसको word भी नहीं कर पा रही ठीक से. It's more like focus, if I have to say.
Irrefutably, I think.
And the gratitude, I'm sorry I'm cutting you, that you were talking about, does it also stem from that?
I feel like the gratitude sort of just like I said comes from the fact that I'm not even just talking about acting as a profession, but so many people want to do something, end up doing another. I feel like I am in a percentage that actually is living their dream, you know, to whatever capacity, and I never want to take that for granted because though your blessings can be taken away very easily also. This is one thing that my mom taught me, ki if you're given a blessing, then you are given it because you deserve it. The day you stop deserving it, that blessing is also taken away.
Correct.
Nothing is yours for life. So, you know, you have to keep earning it every day. So that's what I try to do in terms of my work. I'm not saying ki I'm this very hardworking. I get lazy. There are days where I'm like tired, I'm sick, I'm lazy. But
And you should cut your, like, sell some slack for that also.
yeah,
Chalega yaar.
I get that. But also, it's at the end of the day, I really love this. Yeah, maybe not the interview side of it as much, maybe not the photo shoot side of it as much, but the filming, I love. I love that. I could do that, like, if I'm like on a even if I have like a oxygen mask on, I still like because I love acting. I love it. I love being in front of the camera. All of this is a part of it.
Yeah.
This is a part that I sort of, if I'm being very frank, that I'm like, yes, it is also a part of the job. You must do it.
Yeah.
But that is the part that I'm most passionate about.
Yeah, you know, even with Radhika Apte, I spoke to her recently and she said the exact same thing. She's like, you know, we actually do our jobs, we're actors. और कभी-कभी हमें बहुत ज़्यादा pamper भी कर देते हैं और हमें ये सब भी करना पड़ता है. But the fact that वो set पे वापस जाना है ना, all of this works well for us. Like we're like, हाँ ठीक है चलो कर लेंगे. Because the whole thing where even I actually did this with everybody at Fashion Week, which was Truth Bombs. मेरा first question ये था, what do you think about repetitive interviews? क्योंकि हो जाता है. You know, सब अपना काम कर रहे हैं, but it's tasking.
But then I'm saying this, I'm a huge hypocrite. At the first thing that you think, yo, मुझे बड़े होके actor बनना, first thing you do is you go in front of the mirror and like, yeah, no, I'm feeling fat today. So I've obviously done all of that. So now that I do all of this, it's very surreal that you actually, it's part of my job. I actually give interviews and people care enough to listen. It blows my,
by the way,
it blows my mind that I talk shit and people care to hear it.
They do, they love it. No, I'm telling you because there's a lot of love and admiration that come for you as a personality in general, which is a fact which nobody can take away from. And of course, there's going to be many more films your way and more work, so that'll be amazing. What I also want to ask you is that all of us, okay, whether a girl or a guy, हम सबकी personal life होती है, हम सब बाहर जाते हैं, हम सब घूमते हैं, हम सब अपना कुछ करते हैं. आप लोग पैप हो जाते हो unnecessarily, या necessarily पता नहीं, each to its own, right? How do you deal with it?
I think I've realized first I was a little taken aback because I was like, okay, I mean, I guess you sort of know, but you also don't expect it to happen to you.
Yeah.
You know, you see the dating rumors about other people and you're like, yeah, of course, like I said, part and parcel. But then until it happens to you, then you're like, oh, okay.
और ये actually बहुत normal चीज़ है क्योंकि ये सबके साथ होता है.
Right.
Not the rumors part, but I think हमारे social circle में rumors भी चलते ही रहते हैं.
Right. But I think that is fine. Being spotted is fine. Ki chalo, I was out. But it's the being asked about it over and over and it's like in the most interrogative tone ever also. Ki chalo, haan, theek hai, okay. I was spotted, haan, chalo. It's the, so is it? Is it? No, what is it? No, what? Did they? Did you? I was like, नहीं यार, नहीं किया यार.
और किया भी तो आपको क्या जानना?
And the funniest, नहीं चलो जानना है, चलो मैंने बोला है कि please media मुझे cover करो. That is my thing. I've said कि I want to be an actor, media मुझे cover करो. That I admit. तो आपको जानना है, get that. I am lucky that people give a shit about me, you know, or give me a time of their mind or their day. So I get that it's their job. It's also your job to ask me. I get that. I'm very respectful of that. But at the end of the day, it's like if I'm saying no, and they're like, nah, come on. I'm like, yeah, agar pooch rahe ho to maan to lo yaar. That's all I'm asking. You know, if you're asking me, well, listen to me. That's all I'm saying.
But then don't you feel कि कभी-कभी आप ये आपके साथ नहीं है, ये बहुत लोगों के साथ है. It just shifts narratives. Like I'm not here to talk about my personal space. I'm here to do my job and work. And I'm a very strong. If you go back to any of my interviews, I don't ask anybody about who you're dating, what you're doing, because that's my crux ground. मुझे नहीं जानना. और अगर मुझे जानना भी है, मैं बाद में पूछ लूँगी. It's not something that I want it to be there for public consumption. So I get views on my particular video. Why I'm asking you this is because even as a normal person who's not getting papped on an everyday basis and somebody just says कुछ भी हमारे बारे में हम सोचते हैं, you know, आप लोगों के बारे में लिखा जाता है.
No, but you know, Himsha, I'll tell you my favorite part of it is that I find the most ironic is they'll be like, so what's happening with you and that guy? And I'm like, nothing, yeah. He's like, oh, so nothing's happening. So nothing at all, but you know, you all I was like, see, he's a good guy. But nothing is happening. Okay. Yeah, nothing's happening. He's a good guy.
Nothing is happening.
She thinks he's great. I was like, wait. My next sentence after that was nothing's happening. Like, no, that you just said. But he's a good guy. So what do I say? He's a horrible person? Because I don't think anybody is a horrible person. I have been very fortunate to know good people.
So how do you cut off?
Then I realized now I just say no. I indulge too much in the conversation because I'm a talker and it bites me in the ass.
Yeah. So you don't have to like do
Yeah.
This is my personal advice to you as well. When देखा है, I'm just like, मतलब छोड़ देती है. ये drop हो सकता था.
Yeah. So now I've realized कि if they've asked, even if they've asked like a question that requires me to elaborate and expound my statement, I refrain.
Good girl.
I'm an adult now.
मम्मी पे चले जाओ.
No,
उनको बोलो.
I'm an adult now. So I'm like, no, full stop. No, thank you. That's something that I learned.
I like what Deepika said. I just smile. She's like, I smile. But when I answer to a question, I smile.
No, but when I smile also it's
Construed or something कि चलो कुछ बोला.
Yeah,
होगा.
blushing.
Oh my god. अच्छा, have you taken your scripts back to your mom and approval के लिए कि you're like नहीं ठीक है.
So I think my mom is more of a controversial statement coming, but I think my mom is more of a कि the script is fine as long as you're acting well.
But that's a nice thing.
A person will shine no matter what the script is. You know, so don't be too stuck on what the script is, what is happening, what is there, this, that. Just perform well and it'll all be fine. So I think my mom cares about, I think one thing my mom asks me every day after I've come back from shoot or even while I'm FaceTiming her on set, and let me tell you, I FaceTime her too much. I'm like, Mummy, क्या कर रही हो? She's like, मैं अभी भी set पे हूँ. Then I call her 20 minutes later. I say, आप क्या कर रही हो, Mummy? She's like, मैं अभी भी set पे हूँ. So she's a little fed up with me. पर she always says, क्या सीन हुआ? नाक तो नहीं कटाई ना? I was like, नहीं मम्मी करी. So sometimes I'll send her my scenes also. But yeah, that's the only thing that she'll ever even inquire about. Otherwise, she's one thing in my family is that we are all very, have your space, take your space. You want to talk about it, let's talk about it. But my mom will never intrude, you know.
डर लगता है कभी इतने बड़े-बड़े पर्सनालिटीज से जो काम करते हैं थोड़ा नर्वस होता है.
You know, बड़े-बड़े पर्सनालिटी सबसे ज़्यादा आपको कंफर्टेबल फील कराते हैं.
Wow.
Because I think वो जो जिस मकाम पे आज हैं वहाँ पे पहुँचने के लिए भी उन्होंने कहीं से तो स्टार्ट किया होगा. और आई हैव सीन कि people that make it big have seen people that have been very kind to them.
Yeah.
And that's what shows. Like Salman also talks often about how he was shown kindness and that's what motivated him to be the person that he is today. Same with Sanjay sir. I think the way he treats people shows that he, you know, either wanted that kindness in his life or got that kindness in his life. So I think working with people that are very established and good at what they do and aficionados in their career is the most pleasant experience. It's the newcomers that are lost, that are finding their way, that are like, to be confused, I may be confused, who kya hai? You know? So I think that's I think the statement that people sort of get wrong. Ki working with legends, to it's a breeze. It's like, aap confused ho? The master is here, inse pooch lo. They give you so many tips and tricks. So yeah, I think it's a very, very pleasant experience.
Lastly, before I, conclude this conversation, I want to ask you, where does Palak Tiwari see herself in like this industry? Where do you see where you're going to be?
I think I'm still finding my way. I don't like to preordain where I'm going or all that. I see myself doing good work. I see myself doing work that I'm proud of. I see myself, one thing that I've realized is on the top of my priority, that I think it was in my subconscious and I've just realized it, is doing work that makes my brother happy. It's weirdly, I care too much about that. You think that I don't care about what that tiny thing says, and half the things he says I can't even fathom. कुछ करके बोलता है वो बच्चा. But I care so much about his validation. It means the world to me. Like in Bhaijan, he was so happy watching it, and he was so happy that I'm working with Salman sir because he knows him as Tiger and he loves action movies and all. And like Bijli, he enjoyed watching so much. And I'm telling you, there's no greater joy than your brother loving your work. Sometimes I'm FaceTiming my mom and he watches Billy Billy and he watches Entama because there's that one shot of mine, and that's when I feel like I'm doing something right in life. So I think I want to do work in 10 years that my brother is extremely proud of, that my mom is proud of, and mostly that I'm proud of. You know, and I think that's the only thing that I'm placing on myself right now.
मेरा लास्ट क्वेश्चन था, बट इसी से मैंने कुछ उठा लिया है, वो ये है कि जब पहली बार, बिकॉज यू एंड मम्मा वेंट टू वॉच द फिल्म टुगेदर एट द प्रीमियर, when you came on screen, that moment, मेरा इंटरव्यू भी टीवी पे देखी, मेरी बेटी आ गई, देखो देखो इंटरव्यू कर रही है, and I'm looking at her and I said, I'm doing this for 13 years now. क्या हो रहा है आपको? Why are you getting so excited? This is normal. But she gets very excited. Did you get excited looking at yourself, or you were like, नहीं मैंने तो बहुत सारे run shots देख लिए, सब हो गया, पता है मुझे, मम्मी को देखते, मम्मी कैसे react कर रही थी, क्या था वो टाइम पे? Because when you all came out, like Shweta looked very happy. She was like, "Yeah, good." And you were
That's my mom, I think she was really happy to see the film. She really did enjoy the film a lot. But my mom is very, I think, instead of being like, yes, my mom has never been somebody that applauds every step of mine. She's like, you'll earn the praise and then we'll speak. But she saw it and she was like, chalo good. You know, like, for whatever you had, you did well. And also she was like, यहाँ पे overacting थी. ये क्यों किया? क्यों था? And I was like, नहीं, सही बात है. So, but yeah, my mom is always very, very frank with me, and that's what I appreciate most about her. She never lets me go astray.
And are you overcritical about yourself?
100%.
क्या बात कर रही
But I think
हो?
होना पड़ता है.
Okay.
You know, I think होना पड़ता है क्योंकि यहाँ पे I know हम ट्रोल्स वोल्स के बारे में बहुत बात करते हैं, पर also इस इंडस्ट्री में फ्लैटरी भी बहुत होती है. आपको ज़रूरत से ज़्यादा एक इंसान को इतना नहीं सुनना चाहिए कि आप इतने सुंदर हो, इतने ऐसे हो, इतने वो. मैं जिस भी इंटरव्यू में जाती हूँ मेरा इंट्रोडक्शन ही हो जाता है, दिस सेंसेशन दैट, कहाँ कब, you know, तो you hear too much about yourself and I'm like नहीं. So
ये तो सच नहीं हो.
हाँ, तो हर कोई आपकी तारीफ ही किए जा रहा है, आपको कभी कभी होना पड़ता है कि नहीं यार तू थोड़ा हो जा, like you've not become Salman Khan and all, chill.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I also keep myself in check when you hear so much ki, oh balak to this, and I'm like nahi. But also what helps with that is I go back home and mummy's like, आ गई जा जूते रख.
वो balance हो गया.
So you're like, yep, nobody, back to who I was. So yeah.
Great. Well, this was so much fun. I can safely say that next time she will not run away looking at my face. I will
Except
also,
for if it's Holi.
she'll
Then-
definitely run away.
Yeah.
And I'll also not drag her for a bite. Like, इसको क्या मैं पूछ सकती हूँ? मिलेगा.
मैं अभी दे देती हूँ. Happy Holi 2 times. He's taking it also. He's like ले ही लेते हैं अभी.
Happy Mother's Day भी ले लेते हैं, होली भी ले लेते हैं, दिवाली सब एक ही साथ ले लेते हैं ना. No, but on a very serious note, I really wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much.
Happy to see what you're doing. Can't wait to see more of it as well. And then I'll be like spamming. देखो देखो अच्छा लगे.
And I'll also be stalking Forbes for your picture.
अरे यार 40 under 40 में.
नहीं, I'm going to be stalking it.
Yeah. Oops. So this is motivating me to do better. I have 8 years to go now. Let's hope for it. But all the very best, and
Thank you
looking
so
forward
much.
to Virginity as well. And
Yes,
I'm
thank
sure अभी you know you must be in that process कि काम आ रहा होगा और जो बात नहीं कर सकते वाले moments होते हैं. तो मैं अभी नहीं पूछूंगी, मुझे
Thank
पता है
you.
मैनेजर वहाँ है, मैं बाद में आपको कॉल करूंगी फिर बताना.
उसे शक्ल भी बनाई थी.
Yeah. ठीक
वो
है.
जियान वाला face she's making right now. She's like,
I support her.
do not attack.
Do not attack. Not attacking. Before the interview at Bombay Dance Fashion Week, I've taken a number and told her मुझे करना है, मुझे कुछ करना है, ठीक है? And she was like, अभी तो नहीं करना ना कुछ, वैसे नहीं, अभी जाने दे. You take
Like,
it.
don't harass my palak.
But all the very best.
Thank you
Looking
so much.
forward. Thank you so much. This was a fat chat. Yay!